The difference between getting a good deal and a great deal done is putting a world-class deal team together. And in this case in particular, we work with some outstanding folks. The folks at Peterson Sullivan, namely Jerry Adams and his team, who have deep roots in hospitality and restaurant business, we were able to work with Jerry early in the engagement to make sure that we had a great value creation plan, a great go-to-market plan, and then we ran a broad auction on behalf of the client to get maximum value. Jerry's knowledge and wisdom of the space and the client really helped out in this case.
I am a partner in a firm, Peterson Sullivan in Seattle, and I head up the hospitality and consumer products practice for the firm. I started my career in tax and audit and actually did tax work for 35 years, but the more I worked with my clients, the more I found that they valued the soft side and the advisory much more than they valued the tax work. So it didn't make any sense for me to keep spending my time doing tax returns when my clients kept asking for advice. So I moved out of that and I moved into advisory full-time.
Well, this transaction was unique in that it had 2 generations of management. It had 2 founders as well as 3 executives that are actually running the business day to day that were doing an exceptional job and really positioned them for the next phase of growth.
Well, it was actually a long time beloved client of mine that I started working with about 10 years ago.
I've worked with Jerry even before Stonefire Grill, so he goes a ways back, and Jerry was really instrumental with Peterson Sullivan kind of aligning this whole deal team together, including Tuttle Campbell. First and foremost, he's our CPA, so he's provided a lot of guidance back when he joined with us and just getting the company to the point where it was today, ready to sell. So he's been instrumental in really guiding our founders and our senior management to this point that we were able to bring in Merritt Harbor to help facilitate this transaction.
So in direct support of Craig, John, and Sean, we had Jerry Adams from Peterson Sullivan, and first and foremost, Jerry is an amazing friend. He's always been there throughout the years to make sure that we're making sound business decisions and really has always prepared us for a trajectory of growth.
When the owners decided to move towards a transaction a few years ago, I started looking and reaching out for partners to help bring in the needed expertise. The first thing that Craig and I did was to work with them on understanding what the value of their business was and then what were the things that they needed to work on to actually increase that value. And I was amazed by that conversation at how receptive they were to doing really tough work once you frame it in terms of what the value of their asset is and not just what's the plan that we need to work on this year to improve profits. And it really transformed the way I look at my client relationships. Part of the perceptive side of what I do is to try to understand that there are different hot buttons with different people in the family, and sometimes it's not explainable based on what's going on within the business. You have to go a lot deeper to understand the history. I mean, the typical transaction team, if you go to an investment bank, they want to sign up the client, they want to do the transaction, but the value that you can deliver 1 to 5 years before a transaction is huge in terms of what it means to the client. And quite honestly, the entire management team, to get them really prepared, and you realize that for just from the nature of a transition or life transition in general, there's a lot of change that happens with people. So preparing them for that transition does take time, and it would be really disruptive to all of a sudden have your life be changed without having to kind of process your way through it and prepare for it. And that happens a lot. I consider them a great partner. They're one of the few partners out there that, where I found they were really willing to spend the time. We've been trying to reach out to other experts to come in and work with us on our clients in areas where we don't have the expertise, and to have people who are transaction oriented but also want to come in and spend the time outside of the transaction work. really valuable to us and really valuable to our clients.
Peterson Sullivan did a phenomenal job in preparing us for this. They did a complete audit of our financial statements to ensure that we were ready to go, and they worked hand in hand with our CFO. They really understand what it takes to prepare a company to go to market and what it takes once they're on market. They are people of integrity, but they're business savvy. They know how to deal with those in private equity, and they know how to generate value for your company.
Jerry's been our accountant, in quotes, since 2003, but what he really is our strongest and best advisor, and helped us steer the company in the right direction and position us for growth, and then also supported us through this entire process with his knowledge and background. I think what I can say about the entire team was that they worked with integrity throughout the entire process, and they never lost that. And I think in these kinds of situations, where your ultimate goal is to make a deal, that can often be jeopardized. And so I'm really grateful to the entire team for that.